What's up, guys? Welcome into the PTA pregame show. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim in Green Bay here to talk Packers, Jaguars as we're closing in on kickoff, just roughly an hour and a half away. I know we're going to be looking for the inactives list today and see exactly who's going to be playing, who isn't. We're also going to dive into some of the personnel numbers, kind of give you an idea of what the Jacksonville Jaguars like to do both offensively and defensively from a sense of EPA production across their season so far. So, Tim, we got a chance to sleep on it, bro. How you feeling about this game as we get ready to face Jacksonville? You can see this is a screen grab from just a few minutes ago. Someone had tweeted out, absolutely gorgeous day in Jacksonville, Florida. Man, look at that grass down there too. My God, is that pristine, bro?
Yeah, field looks good, right? Looks like a nice day for ball. I love it, man. I'm feeling good. I felt good this morning when I got up. Feel good about our boys playing some mistake-free ball today. That's what I want to see. A nice mistake-free game, nice and clean, no stupid penalties. I think we get out of here with a win by, I don't know. I don't want to do a score prediction, but I'm predicting a comfortable win. Certainly more comfortable than last week's win, right? We'll definitely take that. So go Pack, go.
Yeah, definitely, man. I know the chat's already lighting up in here. We got some cool stuff that came across the wire earlier this morning as well. We're going to hit on as Tucker Craft just out there doing Tucker Craft things on social media, which I just absolutely love. Actually, you know what? Let's dive into it and then we'll hit the chat. First, check this out. Tucker Craft tweeted out earlier today, forklift certified, Tim. My man. He knows how to connect with the Packer fans, man. This guy's a blast to root for. Really excited to see him ball out today. So I couldn't help myself, man. I had to throw the Photoshop together. we got Tucker Craft looking a little concerned as Matt LaFleur giving orders there with him on the forklift.
I like it.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, now Tucker Craft, he's the man, dude. I just love the energy he brings. And I seen a tweet you put out just a few minutes ago. Looked like you were bringing the smoke this morning as the NFL tweeted out a screenshot of all the top tight ends in the league. It said it's National Tight Ends Day, but there was somebody missing there, wasn't there?
Yeah. Oh, you saw that, huh? Yeah, they forgot about our boy Tuck Norris. But hey, that's okay. That's all right. He'll put the league on notice today. Big game for the Yak Master.
Yeah. I'm excited to see him kind of grow into that role a little bit more. Obviously, he's getting the bulk of the snaps now. Ben Sims has played great, in my opinion. Everything you need in a U tight end in this offense, that secondary tight end. He's blocked well. He's pretty much done everything you've asked him to do in the passing game as well. So as we dive into some of the defensive tendencies here in a minute, I'm eager to see how they stack up against 12 personnel and whether or not Matt LaFleur might lean into that a touch. Let's go to the chat real quick. Got a bunch of people in here. Shout out to Jarrell Lee, been a member now for 2 months. Jordan Love, the last gunslinger. I love it. Jarrell also said, I love what Tim said. Evan Williams is Evan Williams. Go Pack, go. As obviously we were kind of drawing some comparisons of Evan Williams' play style last night. Tim said, no, he's just Evan Williams. How about we roll with that? So I'm excited to see him today too, Tim. Obviously, I think we're going to see him get the bulk of the snaps there alongside Xavier McKinney. I don't think there was anything that happened last week that would suggest Javon Bullard would take those snaps away from him. Do you agree with that? You think Evan Williams most likely be on the field majority of the game?
I would think so. I think he's, well into that process of solidifying himself as a starter. And I think him and X back there, that's our best 2 feet forward for sure. And I'm all for it. And that's not a knock on Javon Bullard. We talked about this a little bit during the week. I think Javon Bullard's just developing the way Javon Bullard develops, and Evan Williams is developing the way that he's developing. And, clearly Evan Williams deserves that starting spot back there. And we may be better served with Javon Bullard in the slot and having Keyshawn out there on the boundary. So time will tell, but I think we're going to get a heavy dose of Evan Williams back there with McKinney, and I'm here for it. I love it.
Yeah. Also, like I said, Edgerrin Cooper, excited to see him back on the field as his snap count continues to ramp up. We'll see if Quay's active. Hopefully we'll get that here soon. Looks like we already got – yeah, so we do. We have the actives and inactives here. I'm going to pull this up, actually, if I can, on the screen because we've got tweets that are like back-to-back that's going to have all the information we need for both the Jaguars and the and the Packers. Shout out to Dennis Shooks that hit that like button. Appreciate you, Dennis. Good to see you in here this morning, sir. All right, let's pull it up, Tim. Let's see about these actives and inactives for the game here. As we got Michael DiRocco. I think I'm saying it. Oh, Lord, what happened, Tim? See, this is what happens when you turn a redneck loose on the interwebs.
Didn't gave Clayton a computer. Uh-oh.
It makes me think of the Office scene there with our boy, who was it? Creed Bratton. They created a blog for him.
Oh, yeah. I opened a Word document and told him it was a website.
It's a blog. All right, so Michael DiRocco said the Jaguars inactives versus the Packers. Running back Travis Etienne, defensive end Miles Cole, offensive line Javen Foster, offensive line Cole Van Lanen. You guys remember that name, right?
Yes, sir.
Defensive tackle Asezi Odemiwo.
I like that. No, that's a good one. I think you got it right first time.
Hey,
nice.
I doubt it. I wouldn't bet the farm on that one, but I appreciate you being positive. Defensive tackle Mason Smith. You got it says ETN out for the second consecutive week with hamstring injury. Smith out with an ankle injury. And then right below that, you got our very own Tom Silverstein put out. Packers will be without inside linebacker Quay Walker with a concussion. Defensive line Devontae Wyatt ankle is active.
Nice.
Jaguars obviously won't have it. Lists all those guys off. It says Packers inactive list in totality is linebacker Quay Walker, cornerback Corey Ballantyne, safety Katano Ladapo, defensive lineman Brenton Cox Jr., tackle Andre Dillard, and tackle Travis Glover. So, Tim, no Quay, but we get Devontae Wyatt back, so we are going to see a pretty good dose, I would imagine, of Eric Wilson and Edgerrin Cooper together, man. Listen, we kind of talked about this. I personally wouldn't have minded if Devontae Wyatt took the week off too, just to make sure that ankle's right, but I mean, we got to be real here. If they've got him out there, he's probably 100% good to go. I'd say that thing's completely healed up. And we seen the video earlier this week, right in practice, where he was hopping around on that thing too. So, any concern there?
No, I don't think so. I think we talked about it, right? They that might have been last week was the reason they didn't put him on IR in the first place. Maybe last week was that extra week to really get his legs underneath him and feeling good. So I've got no concerns at all when it comes to Devontae Wyatt. I just hope he picks up where he left off before the injury, man, and just comes out playing like a monster again. And then, obviously tough to see Quay out, with the concussion, but hey, we know that's serious stuff. And hopefully, after this week, he clears the protocol and we'll see him against Detroit next week. So prayers up for Quay, but I think we're good. So we got a little bad news, but we got some good news with the return of Devontae Wyatt for sure, which should help us a lot since we looked at the Jaguars inactive list here. No Travis Etienne. So those other two backs that we broke down yesterday when we were looking at the PFF comparison, those are guys to keep an eye on. So the more we can load up against that run, hopefully take away some of that play action options for this Jaguars offense.
Yeah, definitely. Miss Green in here asking the important question. Who's going to have the green dot on D with no Quay? Last week, wasn't it? Who was it you said you noticed it last week? Who was
Eric
it?
Wilson, baby.
Eric
Wilson. Put it on the veteran linebacker for sure. We could be surprised and Edgerrin Cooper's wearing it. That would be a big step. But my money is going to be on either McDuffie or Wilson. We'll have the green dot today.
Yeah. I like Eric Wilson wearing it. I'll tell you this, whoever's wearing it, Eric Wilson or McDuffie, obviously they're going to need to be on the field as kind of that. When I say mock backer, it just simply means they're going to be on the field when you're in dime set, right? Because the mock and the will is so interchangeable within this defense. And we've ran a handful of dime snaps too. I showed one on Chalk Talk last week where we had a dime set where there's just one. When we say dime, what we mean there is like nickel means 5 DBs, dime means 6 DBs, right? And you're going, well, 6 doesn't equal 10, which is I'm with you, Bub. We're well aware. But that's what they refer to as dime is 6 DBs, 1 linebacker, 4 linemen for the most part. So unless you're in a 34 roster base. So, as far as the green dot, I'm with you, man. I would like to see Eric Wilson. That way he's on the field more than McDuffie. But it doesn't mean you would take Edgerrin Cooper off the field in your dime set. I think we'll be okay with that too, to be honest with you. Because, listen, Edgerrin Cooper's snap count's getting ramped up tremendously, but it doesn't mean he's going to play 100% of the snaps. Seems like hardly anybody does other than, specific positions in that regard. So
absolutely.
good to see you in here, Miss Green. Thank you for keeping Tim in check. We appreciate that. Most important aspect. Let's see. Ron Samble, 35-21 Packers. I like it. I mean, that's a high scoring game there. What was the over under at 49, Tim? Am I thinking right?
So, God, I can't remember.
That'd be 56. So you're clearing the over under by what? Roughly 6.5 if you want to take the over there. So Ron Samble saying hammer the over, and if you don't hit that bet, just see him. He'll get your money back. All right, there you go. Adam in the chat says, just bet my here we go. Just bet my mortgage on a 100 game from Kraft. Chat, am I cooked? Question mark. Do you guys think Tucker Kraft will have? I think what he's saying is more than 100 yards today receiving. Adam, you might be looking for a place to stay tomorrow, bub. Now, listen, I hope it happens, but how often does a tight end really, get 100 yards receiving? Now, if you I'm sure he's joking. Some of these bets, you can get some really good odds. Like, Tim, you throw in like the 51 play parlay for 50 cents, and if you hit it, you win $72,000 type thing. It's never going to happen, but just put a little action out there.
Yeah, of course. Why not? But hey, you know what? If you're going to bet on a tight end having a 100-yard game, I think Tuck Norris is probably the guy you want to put that money on, because that could come on 2 chunk plays or something, and we could get that going right away. So hopefully, I'm with Adam today. I'm hoping Tucker goes off because I didn't appreciate the indirect slander from the NFL social media team today by leaving him off of the tight ends day celebration. So I think Tuck Norris goes for 100 today. I'm with him. I'm not going to put money up, but I'm supporting Adam in spirit here with this bet for sure.
I personally like it when they do that because it's just a little extra juice for that player for the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, just a little more motivation to prove that tweet wrong. But again, he probably hasn't even seen it. We're over here talking about it.
Yeah,
you know how that goes. But let's see. Dane in the house. Good to see you, sir. He says, Sundays are my day. Packers games, we do nothing but watch the game. Amen, man. My morning, I'm telling you, I wake up, send out the roll call tweet every game day, and then get downstairs, get a cup of coffee, come up here, fire up the old NASA computer, get everything geared up, ready to roll.
Yeah.
And then it's pregame show, straight into watching the game, right into the postgame show. I mean, it's a day, but boy, it's a fun one, no doubt. So
I wake up in the morning feeling like this guy on game day, just total vibes, ready to roll,
Wake up with a lung dart at the breakfast.
Lung dart and a cup of coffee, man. Get ready, get ready to meet your boys for the game,
And then, of course, along the way, you might have to swing into a Sam's Club or a Costco or something. And you always got people like this helping you out down there getting stuff off the top shelf. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
Let's see what else we had here. I thought this was kind of cool. Matt Schneidman tweeted out, Jordan Love is tied for first in the NFL with 8 INTs. The Jaguars defense is tied for last with only 1 pick. Something has to give today. So would love to see Jordan Love go out there and throw for 3 tutters and no interceptions, help that touchdown to interception ratio, Tim. I think that would be absolutely awesome. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you, man. Like I said, clean game today, right? Hopefully no errant throws. I don't think Jordan's going to feel like he's got to force the ball against this secondary, the tight window throws. Hopefully we don't need to see too many of those. Hopefully we get guys running open today. And, Jordan's hitting those dime throws that we know he's capable of. So I could see it, man. Clean game for Jay Money today. It'd be nice to put a big old 0 up in that interception column for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Aaron Rodgers with the super chat. Appreciate you, sir. He says, good morning, Packer fans. Go Pack Go. It's official. I got my tickets for the San Francisco game, section 135, row 45. That's what I'm talking about, man. That is what I'm talking about there. Congratulations. That should be a fun one. Many people pick that as like the game of the year because obviously going into the season, you're expecting the San Francisco 49ers to be a lot healthier. But you can never rule out, man, that team. Kyle Shanahan knows how to put a game plan together. He's going to keep his guys in it. They're really banged up. I think they're without Debo now, right?
Yep.
They're without our boy Brandon Ayuk. Now, Debo might be a little banged up. He may be coming back soon. I'm not sure. But Brandon Ayuk's out for the year, obviously, if I understood correctly. Got a lot of injuries. Christian McCaffrey obviously been out pretty much the entire year. So you're kind of catching them at the right time there too, man.
We're due, and we need it.
Yeah, definitely.
They have owned our asses these last few years, man. It's time to get right. Obviously, you don't want to root for guys being hurt, but hey, I'll take a banged up 49ers team at Lambeau Field all day long. Go Pack, go.
Definitely. All right, so we put a poll question up, and that's what Aaron Rodgers is referring to here in the chat. My vote for your poll is Christian Watson. So if you guys disagree with the four choices for our poll question, which was who has the best shot to win PTA Player of the Game, all right, and we've got Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Xavier McKinney, or Josh Jacobs. Right now, Jaden Reed is leading the way at 40%. Second place, you got Josh Jacobs at 27%. Third, you got Romeo Doubs at 18%. And fourth, you got Xavier McKinney at 15%. So obviously, Jaden Reed winning that poll question right now. But as Aaron Rodgers says in the chat, not that Aaron Rodgers, this Aaron Rodgers, if you know what I mean. He says he's voting for Christian Watson, which is somebody I really didn't even think to put on there, Tim. Probably should have with all the attention that Jaden Reed's been garnering here lately underneath, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I look for Scoot to be stretching the field. Again, we talked about this semi-suspect secondary here in Jacksonville. Why not? Why not air it out to guys like Christian Watson? My vote, obviously, you know who my vote is, so I don't need to. I'll just flash it up on the screen real quick. That's my vote.
He's on a mission right now, man, and the fact that they're moving him around a lot more, and then you've seen this stat came across the wire. I think it was yesterday we covered it, where PFF Green Bay Packers said Romeo Doubs should be featured outside against the Jaguars defense. We showed you guys where he's been lining up in the slot a little bit, playing a little F the last couple games, but still for the most part he's predominantly the boundary X. They said Doubs has recorded 282 receiving yards when lined up outside this season. That ranks 15th amongst wide receivers in the NFL. The Jags defense ranks 32nd in yards allowed to outside wide receivers, presenting favorable opportunities for Doubs on the outside. So, Tim, you might get that one right, man. Romeo's kind of primed for a big game on the outside. We kind of showed the PFF preview where their safeties playing pretty weak. You got Darnell Savage and somebody else, but I can't remember the other guy's name. But obviously they're both grading out under 60 according to PFF. I don't want to bag on him too much, but you kind of got used to it here in Green Bay with Sav being back there in the secondary. It's either hot or cold. Like he'll have a game like he did against the Cowboys where it's like, man, he really showed up.
Right.
And then, for 6 straight weeks, it's like missed tackle, bad coverage, missed tackle, right? So I'm with you though, man. Rome, deep shots, especially since they like to play a lot of cover one man, you might have that deep shot down the sideline. We'll see if they continue to play it that way.
And Rome's really hit his stride too with his route running this season. I thought he was running some pretty crisp routes last year, but man, this year he looks good out there, man. It's like Gordon Ramsay, man, cooking DBs for a living. I love it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. I think he's doing a hell of a job. And again, kind of in the face of adversity too. Now Jaden Reed obviously cooled off a little bit since the ankle injury. PFF Green Bay Packers tweeted this out as well. And you're going to find out the theme of the show today is Jaguars secondary pass defense specifically just not that good, even though they've got a couple pretty good pass rushers there on the edge. But Jaden Reed can win from the slot versus the Jaguars. Reed's 377 receiving yards from the slot ranks second among all players this season. He should continue to produce against the Jacksonville defense that ranks 29th in yards allowed to slot receivers. This is kind of gearing up, Tim. We're talking about Doubs on the outside, Reed in the slot. Watch Christian Watson come out with a $120 and 3 tutters or something. You know what I mean? It would be absolutely awesome.
That's why this receiver room is, what it is. It's deep, it's young, it's talented, and it creates problems for these opposing defenses, man. I mean, you might be able to, bracket somebody or maybe commit, a double team here and there or help over the top to take out one of these weapons. But the minute you do that, man, there's 3 or 4 or 5 other ones that you're going to have to try and account for. And I would love to see it. We would love to see a breakout game for Christian Watson, multiple tutter type of deal, over 100 in receiving. Let's get him going. I'm all for it. And this team, that's how they're wired. They don't care who the star of this game is. Guaranteed. They're all just out there playing for each other and trying to find success out there on the field and get the dubs. So I think Jordan's going to do what he does always, which is spread that ball around. He's going to have a lot of targets, and he's going to hit a lot of these targets. That's just my attitude, man, going into this game. I don't think we're going to fixate on any one receiver, man. We got a chance to really put some numbers up today, and hopefully they spread the ball around.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. Completely agree. Let's go back to the chat real quick. A couple more marked here. Nick McSwain earlier said, wife made plans with her sister and nephew is going to have to sneak peeks at the game while they're not looking. Might be in the doghouse tonight, LOL. You do what you got to do there, champ, You
Yeah.
you got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet. You know what I'm saying, Tim? You got to.
Yeah, man. If you gotta sneak outside, do what you got to do, right?
Hey,
Sit your butt outside.
that's probably what she'll be saying tonight after she got on half a dozen times. So, Nick, Godspeed, sir. Do your thing, man. Good luck with that. Nick McSwain also said, did y'all know they have a pool at their stadium? I don't know if I trust the water. LOL. I did see that. There was a couple shots. I'm trying to see if it's actually in this. It's not in this picture. It's the opposite end zone, but it's kind of in the corner of the end zone up top. And yeah, I'm with you, man. Tim. When you're younger, public pools and stuff. Oh man, let's party. Let's have a good time. As I've gotten older, I'm like, I'm staying away from this pool water right here. You kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, nothing says football like a swimming pool, right? I mean, how do you not go to a football game that doesn't have a swimming pool? I mean, vital to the construction of any stadium, really.
And with the drinking going on, listen, we're all adults here, right? There's some peeing in that pool. Let's be real here, man.
That's like the Raiders have one out in Vegas there. They got their little hot tub or whatever they got going out there. I mean, it's Vegas, so I'd expect it, nothing less from them. But I think I'd stay out of the pool down there in Jacksonville. You never know. You might have some big dudes in there before you get in there. You never know. Sweating out the daddy sodas.
God, that's your PTA hot piss take of the week right there. All right, we're gonna stay away from those public pools. That's all I got. Tim Rogers, Aaron Rodgers' uncle Tim Rogers in the house said DeGuara revenge game ? Man, that's wild. They got DeGuara and Savage, right?
Are either one of them even starting though?
That's the thing. Like I seen in the chat, I think Omer said that Savage isn't starting, but I thought his snap count showed starter numbers. I could be wrong. It might be something where they're kind of trying a rotation too, because they realize we probably shouldn't have paid this guy.
Yeah, so, and I don't think revenge would be the right word, especially with Josiah DeGuara, right? That dude's he's not even wired that way.
Right.
And Savage too. I mean, what does Darnell Savage have to be upset with the Packers for? I mean, we believed in him for 7 years, too long. We let him hang around. I don't think there's any bad blood between Sav and the Packers. If anything, you'll see a lot of family reunion kind of stuff happening out there pregame, and guys probably happy to see each other again kind of thing. So I don't think these guys are seeking revenge, but they will be tuned up to play hard against their former team. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like there's a lot of people, man, kind of coming in here and saying, I'm calling Christian Watson as player of the game. Go Pack Go. I love it, man. I love the Christian Watson respect here. Drew D says, wake up with your piss hot by falling asleep in the hot tub? ? No, don't fall asleep in the hot tub. Lord have mercy.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Ron Sample says Savage starts now. That's what I was thinking, Ron, but I don't follow the Jaguars too closely. What is this? Mrs. Green.
Yeah.
You can swim in my pool, but you can't come in my house. Joking.
Oh, the misses with the classic office quotes. I gotta love it.
That was a wild. You're talking about the pool party episode? Am I thinking right?
No, that was the one where Kathy Bates was when she took over the company.
Oh, yes.
Talking about having guests over, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can swim in my pool, but you can't come in the house.
What was it on a Mississippi tree stump? What was the saying she said? Something on
that was the Michael Scott quote. Also on a Mississippi tree stump.
She just looked at God, it's such a good show, man. That's my winter show. I don't know about you, but like as soon as the work slows down for the season and I get into my slow part of the year, man, usually late November, early December, it's just on loop from season 1 to the very end.
That's Mrs. G's year-round show.
Awesome.
Yeah, the super fan episodes on Peacock. She is full on addicted for sure.
Definitely. Michael in the chat says, chat, is Devontae Wyatt playing today? Yes, he is. He is active. Now, we say he's playing. Obviously, he's active. It doesn't mean, who knows? They may suit him up and he can be ready and kind of see, okay, if the game's close, get into the second quarter, throw him out there. He might be out there on the first series too, right? So we'll kind of see how that shakes out there. Yeah, there was something else too in here. What was it? I think I missed it. It'll come back to me here in a second. Let's dive into some of this personnel matchups here, Tim. And again, this right here, let me make sure I got the right one. Yeah, so this is the offensive table here for personnel tendencies in the NFL. And what I did was I just sorted it out and had the Packers and the Jaguars in here. So on offense, this is what both teams like to do. The Green Bay Packers are running 11 personnel, which is 3 wide receiver sets. At 11 just stands for 1 running back, 1 tight end equals 3 wide receivers. They're doing that 61.3% of the time. The Jacksonville Jaguars are running 11 personnel 60.2% of the time. So you could see really, really even split there between these two teams, how often they're in 3 wide receiver sets, which will trigger your nickel defense, right? In our case, most of the time, a nickel 4-2-5, there may be situations on a 3rd and long where we throw out that dime look as well, which would be a 4-1-6. But nonetheless, man, both teams like to lean on 11 quite a bit. Now, when you're in 11 personnel and we talk about EPA ranking, which is basically it's their success rate is the best way to describe it. Okay. The Packers are 4th in the league in EPA ranking out of 11 personnel. The Jaguars are 11th in the league in EPA ranking out of 11 personnel. Right. So it's just something to keep an eye on there. Now, when you move on to both teams' secondary personnel that they like to lean on, it's both 12 personnel. So the Jacksonville Jaguars are running 12 personnel 20.2% of the time. The Packers are running 20.1% of the time. So these teams, they run very, very similar. They got a very similar philosophy when it comes to offense from a personnel and formational standpoint, okay? And as far as EPA ranking out of 12 personnel, the Jaguars are ranked 10th in the league in EPA out of 12. The Packers are actually 31st in EPA out of 12. So what that would tell me, probably want to press into 11 a little bit more. We'll talk about their defense here in a second and kind of see how their EPA is stacking up against both these formational aspects of the game. So, Tim, what do you think about that personnel-wise, man? This is going to be kind of a mirror image, at least, of the personnel that's going to be on the field for both the Jaguars and the Packers.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it speaks to how they like to utilize their tight ends, just like we like to utilize their tight ends. So it makes sense that they want 2 on the field a little bit more. And, we talked about their receivers. They have the opposite wide receiver room that we have. They have a couple young guys, but they've also got a couple receivers that are, top tier guys, but kind of past their prime, kind of on the descent of their career, if you will. So I think they're going to lean on their tight ends offensively, even if that's the run game or, quick pass game, whatever it is. So when we see 2 tight ends on the field, I'm going to be looking for Trevor Lawrence to be targeting them. So it's going to come down to our linebackers. We talk about Quay being out today. That's a guy that, pass coverage, that's a strength to his game. And it's not a strength of, McDuffie's game, for example. So I'm not going to say I'm full on concerned, but I will say our boys in the middle better be on their toes when it comes to the pass game with this Jags offense for sure.
Yeah, I agree, man. We'll see how it all comes into play here. And again, according to EPA ranking, that would suggest you're probably going to want to press into 11 a little bit more than 12. But also, Matt LaFleur, I could see him looking at those numbers, those rankings, and going, you know what? Why don't we try to get that 12 number up? Let's just go out there and execute today and press into it. Now, we'll kind of take a look at their defense here. First, let's go to the chat. Venom Slash says, at PTA Access, I don't know if you guys covered this, but Jordan Love is on pace to break a record that he throws at least 2 touchdowns in a 10-game streak, joining elite quarterbacks. That's absolutely awesome, man. We were comparing some of the specific statistics the other day and how he is blowing every other Green Bay Packers quarterback in history out of the water with the touchdown passes, at least as far as like in his first 22 games or what have you. And this right here, man, it doesn't surprise me one bit. It might be one of the statistics we shared last week, Tim. Jordan, listen, his interceptions are high, but my man is hitting pay dirt quite often too. This guy is, hey, look, yeah, I might throw a couple picks, but I'm going to go out here and get us 28 points throughout the course of the game too. Pretty cool.
And if that's the trade-off, I'll take it all day. I don't care. It doesn't matter. And again, mistakes happen. I talk about guys playing mistake-free football. There were a big handful of these picks that Jordan has thrown this year that literally were not his fault. They were, balls that were on target, receiver slips and falls. Balls tipped at the line, goes up in the air, a guy picks it off. Those type of fluke kind of situations. So you can't really put them all on our quarterback, but yeah, man, Jordan is deadly. And if he's going to be throwing multiple tutters every week to week, and we got to deal with the occasional pick here and there, I'm all for it. Like I said, especially the way Jeff Hafley has this defense humming, there are teams that may get some takeaways against us, but doesn't mean they're going to get points off of those takeaways. We've seen this defense hold teams to field goals, keep them out of the end zone. So that's a formula for success. And then, Jordan's got that short memory when it comes to, those interceptions. He's not going to let it rattle around in his head and start questioning throws or anything. He's just going to play through it and keep trying to win. And you got to love that about him for sure.
Yeah. Definitely. Let's see. So we hit that one. Dennis Shook says, Clayton and Tim, you should give Parks and Rec a try if you like The Office. Mandy absolutely loves Parks and Rec, bro.
We're all about that.
She is crazy about Parks and Rec, and I like it too. Not as much as The Office, but yeah. Andy Dwyer. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's the best. Andy Dwyer and Ron Swanson forever.
Yes, Ron Swanson. Mandy said it. She was like, "You got to watch this show." The first time we watched it, she's like, "You got to watch this show." She's like, "Ron Swanson is your spirit animal," and I'm like, "Who the hell's Ron Swanson?" I watched it and was like, "Yeah, this dude hates the government. Right? He loves red meat. This is my guy. He loves whiskey and bourbon, all that good stuff." Yeah, you're right. I think that might.
His idea of a perfect birthday is, a little bit of whiskey, a steak, and watching old war movies.
Yeah, leave me the hell alone, right? I just want to be alone with my whiskey. That's it. So it's funny. Mandy asks me every year too, like, "What do you want to do for your birthday? Let's do something special for your birthday." My sister-in-law, Brand, she was like, for my 40th birthday a couple of years ago, we got to do something, Clay. We got to celebrate. We got to go. I'm like, you tell you what I want. This would be awesome. Leave me the hell alone. Let me just sit at home by myself for a day. That's all I want. They're always dragging me to these social events. Cody McDougal in the chat said, I think it's hard to decide between the 4 options for player of the game. There's even more names not mentioned. We got some dogs as the youngest team in the NFL, 2 top safeties, and I am dreaming. Here's the thing. When I went to create that poll, you can only do 4 answers on the poll question. And it was tough. Like, I wanted to put Jordan Love on there, but I'm like, everybody would just pick Jordan Love. So it's like, who out of these players are most likely to win player of the game? So I didn't want it to just be all offense. I need to start doing offensive player of the game and then do a separate poll for defensive player of the game.
That's a good idea. I'm with that.
Because, again, I couldn't leave Xavier McKinney out of there. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes away with a pick today.
Oh, so,
yeah. Great point, though, Cody. Appreciate you, buddy. Good to see you in here. Let's switch over to defensive personnel tendencies here, Tim. So when it comes to facing 11 personnel, all right, the Packers have faced 11 personnel 59.8% of the time. The Jaguars have faced it 55.6% of the time. Okay, so the Packers EPA ranking when facing 11 personnel, which, like we said, the Jaguars are going to be in 11 personnel offensively probably 60% of the time today, roughly, unless they change something up dramatically. Packers EPA ranking against that, 3rd. So really, really solid matchup for the Packers there. Now, we're going to be in 11 personnel 60% of the time as well. The Jaguars' defensive EPA ranking, 31st. So
60% of the time, it works every time.
This screams Jordan Love, huge game today. It really does. But again, they could see this information. They could game plan for the week, they be in the Jaguars, and go, you know what? We're going to give them the run. We're going to take the pass away. That could happen, right? There's ways that you can game plan around certain aspects of an offensive attack. The problem is you got to give something up. So that's what I was saying, the other day when people were asking me, like, how do you think this will shake out? Should I start this guy for fantasy? It all depends on how the Jaguars are going to play defense. Yep. If they try to load the box and stop Josh Jacobs, Jordan Love going to throw for 300, guaranteed.
Yep. And if they're playing off, Jordan's going to check out and go to the run.
Right. Yep. And here's the thing. If we get too greedy as an offense and we get too set in our ways and say, no, we're going to wing it all over the yard, and they come out in a dime set instead of nickel, and they're really playing, they're putting 7 in coverage, 8 in coverage from time to time consistently, and they're playing like with a 3-deep shell look. If they do that and we try to throw into it, you're going to end up with a couple picks and you're going to be behind the 8 ball, right? So we got to make sure that we just don't get too much tunnel vision today in how you're going to attack this Jacksonville Jaguars defense, man. Just take what they give you. Like you said, checks at the line. You might see a lot of cannon going on, all that good stuff. But I think we stacked up pretty well. Now, when we talk about 12 personnel, as far as rate in which we've seen 12 personnel, 17.2% of the time. So that's the second most offense that we've seen from a personnel standpoint, 1 running back, 2 tight ends. So we typically go to our base 4-3 in that look. 17.2% of the time, our EPA ranking there against that is actually 27th in the league. So we're struggling against 12 personnel. All right. There's no 2 ways about it. So from a Jaguar standpoint, they're probably seeing this information and going, why don't we press into 12 a little bit more? So that's where the cat and mouse game begins, obviously. And then for the Jaguars, their next most seen personnel is actually 0-0. So kind of that empty, that 5 wide receiver set, they're seeing it. It looks like, what is that, 15.4% of the time? Really interesting there. So their EPA ranking 17th. So teams have really tried to spread them out. So what you might end up seeing, Tim, is us come out in 11 personnel and flex the running back out, because it seems like that's on tape across the league when facing the Jacksonville Jaguars, according to this table, this chart right here. But anything catch you off guard there from a defensive, what the defenses have faced personnel-wise so far this year?
No, not really. This is a good breakdown, though, and I agree with what you're saying. It's almost like, you sugar with your offense, right? And we can come out in a set and tell that defense what we want them to believe, and then Jordan makes that patented wave, or we tap the helmet, and we've got a guy motion over, and if their D is not adjusting, we're going to light them up all day long. And if that is on film, I would fully anticipate Matt LaFleur trying to exploit that. But I also anticipate that Doug Peterson's going to have his guys ready to play today, and maybe try to make some adjustments out of those tendencies that they had. But I'm all for it, man. I love the way that Jordan, runs this offense. And if Matt's in his bag today, calling great plays, and like you said, we don't get tunnel vision, I think we light up that Jaguars defense.
Yeah, and here's one of my most underrated players on the Packers roster here, with our boy Ben Sims.
Yeah,
as the Packers tweeted out, a tight end spotted in the jungle with the eye emoji. Ben Sims has played so damn good, man. He's done everything you've asked him to do. He's actually our highest graded tight end on the entire roster right now at like a 70.6. That's the other thing. If we try to press into 12 personnel, don't be surprised if you see Ben Sims on another wheel route. You've seen him hit on if Jordan hadn't had pressure in his face, got the ball out a little bit earlier and on the spot, could have had a huge touchdown catch there for Ben Sims. But this guy is an athletic freak. I mean, you can see how tall he is. I think he's thick. He's the fastest guy on the roster too. We've showed chalk talk clips of him blowing people up in the run blocking game. The dude can do it all, and just another great find from Brian Gutekunst. Man, I hope he's here for a long time. This offseason, that's going to be one of those players that I'm going to be standing on the table for going, we got to bring that dude back. He should be cheap, and let's get him I would be willing to give him like a 3-year extension at about $2 million per, something like that. Give him some guaranteed money, 5-6 million guaranteed. He'd probably sign that. And just lock that up so you got some stability in the tight end room, because obviously Musgrave battling injuries, and the way Tucker plays, look, the reality is Tucker's a tank, but he's going to get banged up over the years too. I think Ben Sims is a vital part of this football team.
Absolutely. I feel real confident when Ben Sims is on the field, even if we are in 11 and he's the only tight end out there. You feel like he's capable and certainly qualified. And I think he's got a high ceiling. He's a very talented guy. And you're right. It gives us a little stability going forward. Goody going out and getting this guy is just a blessing, because, we tried the Tyler Davis experience again, at camp. We had him coming back from an injury, didn't really pan out, ended up getting hurt again. We had Musgrave dealing with some injury issues. We still have him dealing with injury issues. And hey, you don't want to give up on your young players, but at the end of the day, man, we need capable bodies out there ready to play football. And that's Ben Sims. He looks like he's cut from that same kind of cloth too as Tucker, right? Just a tough guy, willing to play hard, do the extra things to go out there and help his team win. And I think he's a pass catching threat too, just like Tuck Norris, man. Ben Sims can run those routes and make plays in the pass game too. He's not just a battering ram of a blocker out there for us. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play today too.
Yeah. Hey, we appreciate everybody hanging out with us here pregame. If you would take just a quick second, hit that like button for us. Some of y'all probably mowing the grass right now. Hey, turn that thing off for just a second, hit that like button. We appreciate y'all, like I said, spending time with us, making us part of your pregame festivities as the Packers are getting ready to kick off against the Jacksonville Jaguars. As you can see, in a beautiful, just a sun-splashed afternoon down there in the great state of Florida. Hopefully be back here on the post-game show later talking about a huge dub from the Packers. Just can't overlook that opponent, no doubt about it. Let's go to the chat. Jason Yu says, yeah, this might be a great opportunity to go deep. It really feels like that, man. Everything we've broken down, Tim, we talked personnel, We talk what they're weak in personnel, against from a defensive standpoint. 11 personnel. It screams 11 personnel on the field the majority of the day, maybe even 70% of the time. They're going to be in a lot of cover one man. If I remember correctly, let's pop it up here real quick and take a look. That's right. We got to put the ticker down, don't we?
Got to find them there.
Look, now it's covered up by the chat. Oh, man. All right. Oh, there you go. All right. So Jacksonville cover one man 36% of the time. Guys, that means man across the board, one deep safety, single high. And then, of course, they run cover two zone 28% of the time. So what that says is against cover one man, here's how you attack it. And it all depends on the leverage and technique in which the Jaguars are going to choose to play that. If they're playing clamp down on those crossers, you're going to be able to hit deep shots down the sideline, or at least take one-on-one shots down the sideline. If they're playing with over-the-top technique, which means the crosser is going to be open underneath. Okay, you might see some mesh underneath, all that stuff, and also Josh Jacobs. Listen, that dude's probably going to get a decent workload today as well. What I would love to see, jump out to an early lead, 14 points, get Josh Jacobs out of the damn game, keep him fresh, and let's lean on Emmanuel Wilson, let him get a 100-yard day too. But yeah, this EPA per drop back, guys, 0.30, that is absolute cheeks. I mean, cheeks. You can look at it two ways. Man, Packers are due for a big game today, but also when teams are playing that bad at a specific aspect of the game, they're also due to turn it around. So you got to kind of look at it both ways.
Right.
We got Emilio joining us here too. But Tim, what do you think about that? What we were just talking about there, man.
I'm with them about Respect Oranges in the chat. Emilio joining us on the pregame. What's up, buddy?
What's happening, fellas? How are we?
We're good, Emilio. We got a new screen grab here, man. I don't know if you seen Tucker Kraft's tweet earlier today, but my man said forklift certified is what he put out on Twitter.
That's big. Yeah. That's big. Because Michael Scott's not allowed to use it. You know what happened last time he used it, so.
This ain't over, Michael.
Yeah.
We're the ones who got to clean that up.
Yeah, or when he kicks the ladder out from underneath Daryl. Hey, Daryl, how's it hanging?
Oh, my gosh.
Great.
Terrible.
Emilio, we haven't talked to you, man, in a couple of days. How you feeling about this game, dude? Obviously, Packers, Jaguars, we've been kind of pointing out that the Jaguars' pass defense is one of the worst in the league, and it looks like we'll probably press into 11 personnel quite often today. And
looking at that chart there, Cardinals are what, bottom three? So I think that's big. We've already played against the Cards. Yeah, they're just above Carolina. Third worst in the league. I think that it's a different defense, obviously, because we're going against a lot more, cover one and cover two versus the Cardinals. But I think that we can still attack it, the same sort of mentality, get them horizontal, then get them down the field. I think that we got the speed with Scoot out there, Bo, rotate them around. And then, we just got to keep punching them in the mouth with the run game, just to keep them honest. But like you said, let's get a little bit of a lead out there. Then that D line can turn up, and all that noise that everyone's talking about, people aren't making, getting their numbers or whatever, all that can stop if we can turn our D line loose for 3 quarters instead of just 5-10 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm with it. I'm with Kayshawn in the chat here. I think Love is going to throw 5 tutters today. Let's go. I'm here for it.
Got the 10 on for a reason.
Yes, sir.
As Deadfish confirms in the chat, weather is not as warm as originally forecast down here. A high of 84 with winds only up to 5 mile an hour. Right now, it's showing the Jacksonville Jaguars just tweeted us out 10 minutes ago. Weather forecast 83 degrees, so somewhere between 83, 84 degrees today. It's going to be warm in terms of Green Bay standards, though, right? I mean, this was about how hot it was when Josh Myers was puking on the football. So we listen. We're eating beer cheese soup and cheese curds and drinking that cold beer up there in Wisconsin. You get down there in that Florida heat. It's a different. Tell them, Emilio, it's not the heat that'll kill you. It's the humidity, right?
No, that's the truth. First time I told you, first time I worked out down here, I worked for 10 hours outside. I was throwing up Gatorade at the end of the day. Like, it was crazy. And it's not like I can't do the work, but man, it just hits you different. It leaves by a sweat and you don't even feel it.
Yep. And then you're in a helmet and pads, got all this gear on. It's man. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a little puke special again.
And if you're not hydrating, right? If you're not hydrating 2 days before, I mean, I need 2 or 3 bananas a day for the first 2 or closing in on game day. Pedialyte Central, you need to hammer that stuff. I mean, we need these dudes to be hydrated.
That's true. If you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So make sure you're loading up.
Yeah. No doubt, man. So keep it hydrated. Protect yourself from that humidity down there. And yeah, it's going to be hotter than a $2 pistol in Jacob's basement. You know what I'm saying? Pretty damn warm. Let me tell you, Jason. You in the chat. We already talked about that one, didn't we? Reef says our strength is passing, pass to run for us, and that's a real thing, guys.
Yeah.
Like it used to be, you got to run to set up the pass. Nowadays, it's you can do both, right? You can pass to set up the run, you can run to set up the pass. Seems like more often than not. That's what LaFleur is trying to do. Now, listen, I've been as critical as anyone on these first down incompletions. When you complete the pass on first down, it's usually a big play. The best down to pass on, the easiest down to pass on is first down. But boy, when it don't work and it puts you behind schedule, you got dumb rednecks like me going, what the hell are we doing? Let's lean on the run here. So
why are we running jet sweeps?
Oh my God, bro.
I'm
third and short. It's like,
and we're throwing on first down today, boys. I'm not even going to sit here.
It's going to happen in the
not even going to sit here and be upset when I see it.
The question is, where do we want our third down percentage? We got to be over 50%, I think, on third downs, or else I don't think I'm going to be too excited about where Matt's got, at least the play calls or at least the decision making for the players.
Yep. Yeah. I'm with you because, we don't want to do any favors for this Jacksonville defense. We need to take it to them, go right at them, man. I fully anticipate picking on those corners and, picking on Darnell Savage back there at safety. I think Jay Money's going to test him at least once or twice in this one. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Let's see. Coach Lynn says we need all three tight ends. That's the thing, man. There were some people that were asking here. Let me throw this up first, and I'll get back to Coach Lynn's comment. Respect Orange just says trade Musgrave? ? Absolutely not, man. Listen, he's still a young player. Tucker Kraft kind of ascending. That's not normal for a player that young to grab a hold of the offense in the second half of his rookie year and just blow up. Tight end is a tough position to play. And it's another reason why PFF has him graded so low is because he's still making a bunch of mistakes. It's just, boy, when he makes a play, he makes a big damn play. 66-yard touchdown catch and run there earlier in the year. You had the seam route last week against the Texans, that diving catch in the end zone for a touchdown. When he makes plays, he makes them big. But like Coach Lynn's saying, we need all three tight ends. It's so true. Coach Lynn knows this more than anyone, being obviously a coach and having played the game himself. Tight ends get banged up. If you trade Musgraves away and you sign someone, right, and you sign someone that's just absolute cheeks because, look, there's not good tight ends just roaming around on the streets. It's not happening. When you sign someone like Ben Sims at the time, nobody was going, yeah, great signing. Jacob pointed out here on this show, hey, man, the RAS is through the roof, got a lot of physical tools and traits, but it's the mental aspect of being able to grab a hold of both the running game and the passing game, marrying it all up. It's rare that you get a young player that can do that. So if you trade away Musgraves, who, listen, right now he's not performing up to standard of a second-round pick. We would all agree with that, right? But he knows the system, right? If you bring someone else in, now that playbook is completely limited. And I know you weren't saying to trade him, whoever that was, that said Respect Oranges. Yeah. I know you're not saying trade him. You're asking, should we trade him? Mine's emphatically, absolutely not. What do you guys think about that?
Musgrave stayed on his feet.
Yeah, you don't trade that guy, right?
No, not yet. Run the contract out. I mean, we're getting rid of him on the rookie contracts. I don't think. At least do it in the last year. If you're, last year, week 8, if that's what you want to do. But, let the kid come back from injury. How can you be mad at the fight he put in? He played through. His innards were all cut up. I mean, dude was just out there playing on the field. It's like that's the kind of mentality you need. That's the same mentality Tucker has. He's just been able to stay on the field longer and make more, explosive plays.
Yeah, and they're two different tight ends. That's why, like to Coach Lynn's point, you need multiple versatile tight ends. You got your pass catchers, you got your guys that are your sift block masters, your guys that you use to be a bully in the run game, and then you got your guys that are a little bit of both. We talk about Tuck Norris being the Swiss Army knife in this offense. Ben Sims is kind of put together the same way. You look at Musgrave's more of your vertical threat, right? More of a pass catching tight end. In this offense. So I agree with Coach Lynn, man. I think it's important to have, 3 weapons there in your in your tight end room for sure.
And Tim, what happens if you give Musgrave a year and his blocking is he's sitting at 60, 65 PF? Like I'm run blocking, I'd be completely happy with that. Then the explosives come in the pass game because they respect his blocking a little bit more.
And that's all part of your development, right? Like that's just something he's going to add to his repertoire as he develops as a tight end. Some guys come in and they've kind of got a complete package. Some guys, they got to build it up and become more versatile as they develop. And yeah, I'm all for it, man. We don't give up on Luke Musgrave at all.
Right.
I wouldn't.
What if we had 2 move tight ends? What if he could play tight? What if we could rotate him having 2 move tight ends? Could you imagine how talented we would be then? Come on now.
Yeah, that's a good point, man.
Hit him with that 13 personnel.
Hey, Kansas City did it last year, no doubt.
Right.
2-0 for this hits on the important parts here. Another way Clayton is like Ryan Swanson is that he will go to the strip club only for the breakfast buffet. Listen, I like a nice, wholesome woman, your Steffi Grafs, your Cheryl Swoopses, right? Ain't that what he said? He said, but I'm a sucker for that breakfast buffet. Remember when he walked in, smells like a wet mop in here. He looked over and went, my God, and it was a breakfast buffet. He's flipping around the tongs and everything.
I love it.
Gotta get it on. I just told y'all I'm not a big fan of it. Mandy likes it. I'm reciting whole episodes here. All you need to know. Drew D in the chat says, I want to see an interception from a player not named McKinney. A Bullard INT would be awesome. That would be awesome. Out of the slot. Jump a quick out and take it to the house. Oh my God.
I'm with it. I want my boy Jair too, man. I'd like to see Ja Money get one.
There you go.
Run a little bit of this.
Took it down the sideline, turned over with my guys, gave the football to a little kid wearing 23.
Hey, did you guys see his IG post earlier this week?
No.
It was awesome. No. I screenshotted a little bit of it, sent it on Twitter. It was just pictures of him like hanging out with some older men and women at like a retirement home or something. It looked like they might have been battling illness. Had him a picture with some of the kids in the community doing some charity stuff there and just giving all the praise to God. It was awesome, dude. It was awesome. Jair is in a great place this year. And it's just a perfect example of like you can make mistakes like you did last year with the whole captain fiasco and then be coachable to where someone can call you out on it, suspend you, and then go, you know what, you're right. I need to straighten and just right back on the straight and narrow,
You've seen a huge step in his leadership between that time last year and where we are this year. I saw it during camp a little bit. We saw it early on this year, and we've been seeing it throughout a lot of these post-game locker room videos that we see after these games. And you see Ja is a vocal leader stepping up. And, we just want to see him a little more consistent out there on the field. So I'm hoping he has a big game today. Pick 6 for Jair. Let's go.
Yes. Yep. All right, let's see here. Reef in the chat says Musgrave is a slot tight end. He has the speed. We ask him to do a lot. It's a good point. He's that guy you do want to flex out wide. But at the same time, he's not a receiver, right, Reef? Like he's got to be able to block in line. He's got to be able to do those other things. If you need to put him in the U from time to time, all that stuff matters as well, for sure. All right, let's see what else we got here.
No block, no rock.
Reef says, I agree Clayton Wilson needs some touches if he is not the hot running back. Could not agree more. I mean, we see our boy, let's see, Josh Jacobs out here on the field running a little wheel route, catching some passes. You see the sweat, Emilio. My man been out there doing some landscaping.
You're sweating already, man.
I'm telling you, dude, it's going to be warm down there for sure. Mandy walks up here. She pissed me off so bad this morning. She walks up in the studio this morning and says, we should have went to that game. I'm like, how you going to come up?
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
He'll come up here 2 hours before the game and say, we should have went to that. Unbelievable.
How about that ball, though? He threw back to the coach there. Little running back pass later on in the year, maybe?
Take it easy. We just talked about these doggone trick plays, Emilio. Come on now.
We're the first
I want Jordan Love throwing the ball, not our running back.
It's so true. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Reef Wilson needs to get some touches, man. Respect Oranges. Lawrence has only given up 3 INTs. He might play it safe today, but pressure could change that. Great point. He does protect the football. And again, it might be one of those games like C.J. Stroud protected the football too, and he only threw for 80-some yards, right?
Right.
So,
Well, he's protecting the football this year. Last year, I mean, since last year, hasn't he thrown like the most picks since he's been in the league or something like that?
It seems like you're right about that.
So, like, I mean, yeah, he saved it this year, which is good. I think it's really helped their offense, but still, it hasn't shown up in the record, right?
Yeah, great point. Let's see here. Jason, a Jair pick would really make my day. Amen.
There we go.
Roger Davis, anxious to see if Packer fans fill the stadium like LA. Roger, I think they will, man.
Yeah, I think Wes and Mike were talking about that.
Yeah, Florida, there are a bunch of Packer fans in Florida. Every time Mandy drags me to Florida, I'm cold weather. That's why I swear I think I was supposed to be born in Wisconsin. Like when other people, when the weather turns and they go down south, I'm going in the opposite direction, man. I want to go up there where the snow's flying and all that. But yeah, Florida is, every time she drags me down there, they're Packer fans. If I wear a Packer shirt, especially like if we go to Disney or something, it's every 6 or 7 people. Go Pack, go! Go Pack, go! They're everywhere down there. So I think they will fill out the stadium for sure.
And I think we
saw
be a lot
like Tennessee. Yeah,
right. Exactly. That's what I was going to say. We saw it just in Tennessee. That's what Mike and Wes were talking about. Hey, they filled it. They filled it against Tennessee. Filled it against the Rams. He said that they show up. It's a really good. Packers are probably top 3 in travel. Travel fan base. The Steelers maybe are better than us, but I'd say we got to be top 3. So I think it's going to be huge, and especially people in that neck of the woods. And Florida's 12 hours to get down to the bottom of it from here. I mean, you got that. People can come from all over if you're in that area to go see the Packers play. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Xavier McKinney, Packers, said Packers defense will hold the Jags under 18 points. J-Love, 4 touchdowns. Jacobs, 100-yard game. If that's the case, we're winning by 40, boys. Again, I don't want to get ahead of our skis here, but we talk about how bad this Jaguars passing defense has been. Man, it's hard to argue with that. It really is. Yep. Let's see. Chevy in the chat says, this is my first time watching the stream, and y'all look a lot different than I would have thought from listening to the podcast. I get that a lot.
Chevy came in here like,
I got some advice for y'all. Take 2 weeks off, then quit.
If people hear my voice, I've got the weakest voice on planet Earth, right? And when you come from Appalachia like me, you don't care about trying to make your voice sound deeper or anything like that, trying to sound cool. We talk like a bunch of rednecks that we are, right? But when people see me in person or whatever, they're like, yeah, bro, I didn't expect you to look like that. So, 6 foot. Now I'm at about 205. We got to trim this down, right? But
it's winter. You're bulking up for the winter season.
That's what it is. That's right. Yeah, warmth in the winter. But yeah, when you hear my voice, though, you think I was 5'6", $140, right? But it is what it is, man. I got that double chin kicking. That's just how I roll. Or as a friend of mine used to say, more chins than a Chinese phone book. So
you're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate that. Let's see here. Anything else in the chat we need to hit on? Look at this. Rashawn Gary interception will be not. If Rashawn Gary gets an interception, let me tell you something. I'm buying rounds for the whole crew. All right.
Let me tell you something. Nobody's getting that football from him if it happens. There's no way.
Exactly right. Nick McSwain. Clayton wears rhinestone suits while listening to Waylon. Not too far from the truth, to be honest.
Got a rhinestone jean jacket he throws on.
Yeah. I haven't worn cowboy boots in forever, and Mandy begs me to wear them all the time. She's like, you got to break the cowboy boots. I can't do it, man. I'm the biggest slob there is right now. All right, man. Let's see. Your guys' great takes cured my hangover. Keegan says, Keegan, I don't know what you hung over for, sir, but
Saturday night, definitely.
Yeah. Might have been that Wisconsin game. That was a fun game. I know the Badgers came up short, but y'all should be proud of that damn team. They played Penn State really, really tough, man. That was a fun game to watch. So Wisconsin Badgers definitely on the uptick.
Yeah.
Watch him come back in there and go, I'm actually an Ohio State fan or something.
Right. Judy was talking about it. Did you see that punter? That little fake punt?
Yeah. Describe it, Emilio.
So they Australian punter, he kicks lefty, and he caught the snap, started walking up left, and the free rusher right off the side gave him like a pump kick, right, faked the kick and just started carrying and was about to set the kick again. He had a wall of 3 dudes running down there. No one was near him. I mean, if the one lead blocker got a hold of that dude, he probably could have taken it 40, 50 yards.
Yeah. It was awesome. Like they snapped it to his left, so he's going to kind of do like Emilio saying that roll out left punt.
Right.
And Tim, this free rusher comes, nobody touching him, right? He's going to block it. Guy gives him a little fake, steps to the side. He goes flying by, and then he looks up and like, I'm just going to run this for a first down. Turned into a rugby player, didn't he? He's just like, let's go. Let's tuck it and go. So really cool play for sure. All right. Anything else, guys? Anything else y'all want to hit on? I'm going to comb through Twitter one last time here. But I think we've covered everything pretty extensively. Just final thoughts before we wrap this thing up.
Mistake-free football as best as we can today. We've got to be fundamentally sound. I feel like I say this every week, and every week we don't do it and we get away with it and we squeak out with a win. I'm thinking today is one of those games where, like I said, it's played in between the lines. It's not played on paper. So this team's got to be tuned up. We got to take this Jaguars opponent seriously. This is not about their record or what their situation is in the AFC right now. We got to go get this win and keep the win streak alive. So fundamentally sound, mistake-free ball. That's what I'm looking at from our boys today. Go Pack, go. 5 tutters for J Money. Let's go.
Wow, I love that, Tim. We're gonna take touchdown leader for our QB. I'll take that. I think Tim's spot on. We just got to show up. We've won 3-0 against the rest of the AFC South or whatever. We need to take this and just sweep the division and call it done, right? Let's move forward. We got a tough part of our schedule coming up. Yep. We need to take care of business here, but then we need to be ready to move on. I think it's going to be good to build. It's going to be a good building game. We can try out maybe some new things if we get a little bit of a lead, test something Matt was maybe looking at. And it's time for them to show up, right? I know people were talking about it in the chat, 40 burger, 50 burger. I think it's possible. And I think, we got to keep the penalties, I'd say 5 penalties. That way we're seeing progress getting better. And we can only give the ball up one time, but we have to take it away at least twice. We got to stay positive.
Yeah, that's it. Guys, I'm a broken record every week. You hear me talk about it. Turnover differential, control the middle 8, and, limit those explosives. If you do that, you're going to put yourself in a position to win every single week. We're back in that 12 to 13 win range, in my opinion. Go out and get a dub today, and you're going to stay in that 12 to 13 win range. And that's what it comes down to. You break the season down into 4 quarters. Now you got an extra game tacked onto that as well. But if you go 3-1 in each quarter, you're going to end up with 12 wins, and you're going to be in the playoffs. And that's all you can ask for in this league for sure. As you can see here, the Packers tweeted out, "Let's get it," as the guys are running out on the field here, all suited up. Now I'm thinking that Josh Jacobs might be mocked up, so look for that on Packers.com. But nice. Love this shot right here of Josh Jacobs, Keyshawn Nixon, Bo Melton, Jaden Reed, and Emmanuel Wilson out there praying in the tunnel before they run on the field. Man, I love this damn team, dude. I love everything about it. So that's it, guys. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We will be back immediately following the game for the PTA post-game show. Really, really appreciate y'all making us part of your pregame festivity. Shout out to Jarrell Lee, who's been a member for 2 months now. Also, Aaron Rodgers with the Super Chat, also been a member for a month. Everyone who got your memberships in by midnight last night, or you're a member of our Patreon group by midnight last night, we've got you all queued up on the Larry McCarron pinky wheel we're going to spin during the postgame show. We're going to be giving away. I'd hold it up to the screen, but it's hard to see. This was donated by United Bates. It's number 19 of 35. It's a leaf card signed by Romeo Dobbs, a rookie autograph.
Oh.
So we're going to be giving that away to one lucky listener. Now, again, it's too late to get into this one, but if you're a member of our Patreon group, you just scan that QR code. It'll send you to patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. Be a member of one of the 3 tiers. That'll put you in the running for the contest, as well as on YouTube, just being a member here on YouTube. Not a subscriber. You have to be a member. And it's just a way for us to give back to those who are supporting the stream. But we appreciate y'all. Tim, Emilio, thank y'all. This was a lot of fun, dude. We'll be back, like I said, immediately following the game for the post-game show. Help me out, Tim.
For those of you listening on the pod,
thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. Let's go get this dub. Go Pack, go.
Get it.